What is the very essence of problem solving? And that's the name of this video, as well as the companion article on my blog, notesintheleftmargin.com. Hi, my name is Patrick Clark, and I own the aforementioned blog. And you're welcome to comment on this video and the corresponding article. In the volunteer work I do, and I've done it for many years with an organization in Vancouver, we solve technical problems for a wide variety of people, from seniors to small organizations, and quite often people ask us, how do you do it? What gives you that little bit of gift or magic? And after thinking about it for a while, personally for me, and this is just my personal opinion, there's no magic. It is about 4 particular aspects. One of them is approaching things with an open mind. I have seen people wrestle with their computers and they do the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Well, when pushing that button, whatever that button is, didn't work the first time, and it didn't work the 10th time, it's time to change tact. And one of the things that you've got to do when you're trying to solve a problem is realize what your own perceptions are. That's actually another point. So you've got keep an open mind, and look at the entire issue. And then you've got things like, don't be afraid to say, I don't know. Sometimes you get an issue presented, and after the person explains it, and after you've looked at the device, if it's available, you are completely bamboozled. You're just going, I have no idea how that happened. This is where being okay with asking others, and maybe even running it through some AI, if you can phrase it correctly, is a huge benefit. Often, we also see people that go, I don't know, and they stop. They don't consider the idea of asking someone else. I've even had people, when I go into their places, they'll have a note and they'll just hand it to me and go, here's the problem, and they walk away. And you just, wait a minute, you just sort of, huh? So you read the note and it describes something usually kind of vague, and you have to look at the device and kind of poke around, and slowly, usually the person will give you little bits of information. And sometimes, in one case, the problem was not only clear, but so was the answer. I'm going to give you a real world example. Went over to help someone with their brand new Amazon TV, and they were saying, I can't get the voice assistant to work. I've tried and I've tried and I've tried and I've tried. And I said, well, what are you doing? Tell me the steps you're going through. I am pressing the voice assistant button on the remote. I am talking to the remote and nothing happens. So, I went over to the person's place and they were doing exactly what they were saying. They were pressing the voice assistant button briefly on the remote and then talking. What they weren't noticing was that when they briefly pressed the button on the remote, it said in big letters on the TV, press and hold to talk. Not press and release, press and hold. And even though the message was crystal clear on the screen, they were so focused on, you got a remote, you press a button on a remote briefly, you let it go, and then whatever should happen happens. They didn't see that. And so it took, 1 second to fix that. But again, they had a routine, and they had gone around and around and around, and when they finally got to the point where we got contacted, and this was a personal job I did. It wasn't really a job because it took a minute to fix, but it just goes, this person, from what I gather, had been working on with this TV for a while, a couple of days. And so don't be afraid to ask for input from other people, and sometimes you just don't know. And the other thing is emotional awareness. Now this might be a little confusing initially, because what does emotional awareness have to do with fixing problems? Well, often, as is in the previous example, people don't see the world the way you do. There are many ways to see the world and many ways to communicate any given situation. I'm reminded of one person I worked with quite a few years ago, and we were doing this over the phone, and I was saying, okay, click the drag bar on the right side of the screen and drag your mouse down, move your mouse down. And they said, I don't see a drag. What's a drag bar? So I said, do you see the gray thing on the right side of the screen? He says, no. And this went around and around for a while, and I'm thinking, okay, I know what kind of computer they got. I know where they're at in the computer. There should be a drag bar on the right side of the screen so they can click and hold and move their mouse down, and they should scroll down the screen. This went on for a little while, and then he said, I see rectangles. And I said, where do you see the rectangles? He said, I see it on the right side of the screen. And I said, what color is it? And he says, it's kind of grayish. And that's when it dawned on me, he was saying the drag bar as a rectangle, which it is. And that once I said click on the rectangle and drag your mouse down, things worked marvelously. But again, this was me not translating, not having the awareness to go, oh, he may be seeing things differently than I do. And this is tied to emotional awareness because it's tied to discovering how the other person communicates, and emotions play a part, because I've had people get very excited over the phone, and you need to know how to not only adapt but to understand a bit of their reality. And the fourth point is the best point. People that are problem solvers, all the ones I've met, all the really good ones, they love a challenge. They go kind of crazy when they get a really good mystery, and especially if they made a little bit of an inroad, but they haven't got it solved yet. They love difficulty, is what it comes down to. Now, I've met people that are what I would call difficulty averse. They don't want any kind of difficulty whatsoever. They always go for the simplest, the easiest route. And that leads them, of course, into a great deal of problems. But I think difficulty in proper amounts and in proper done properly, and like when I say difficulty, I mean difficulty that can be reasoned out, or not like dangling you from a airplane and going, that's going to be difficult to get down from. Something that is reasonable, or has a goal that at the end of the difficulty, once you've gone through the process, you've learned. I think that's critical for people. And all the people that I've been lucky enough to work with for 8 years now, doing my volunteer work, and I will do it until the day I die, as long as they let me. They love a good challenge. As a matter of fact, it's kind of fun when we all get together, the boss included, and when he comes in on it, we got a major issue. But when we're all sitting there, and whether it's via Zoom or in person, and we're just shooting at the issue, trying to figure it out, it's tremendous, because the creativity really comes out. And I think that's one of the benefits of a challenge, is that it draws on your creativity. And I think that's when the human spirit really shines. So get to the point where you can almost enjoy a little bit of difficulty in your life that is leading you to something better. I think that's a big one. As a matter of fact, I think all 4 points are big. And let's see if I can reiterate it or repeat the points without falling all over the place. The number 1 is come to every situation with a completely open mind. Try to understand where your built-in limits are, because everybody has them. But when you come to a situation, try to keep the doors of the mind open. Number 2 is, if you don't know, don't be afraid to network with friends. Again, use Google and AI to kind of tease a problem apart, but don't be afraid of, if you're in a situation where you really don't know, don't start trying blind answers. Just say to the person, I don't know right now, but I will investigate, and we'll come back at it. And it may take you stepping away from a problem briefly in order to get clarity on it. Number 3 is emotional awareness. Again, this has to do with communication. So, adapt to the way people speak. Adapt to the way people think. And to do that, you have to be aware of yourself. And lastly, if you love a challenge, the problem solving is for you. Enjoy the difficulty. However, there is one minor point here, and that is it can get a little addictive. You can get into a situation where you're doing it the hard way because that's the way to learn the most. But if you're on a limited time amount, if you have to get it done on a schedule, don't, sometimes taking a shortcut in order to get it done is the absolute right thing to do, and you can come back to the issue later and do it perfectly. But those are my 4 points. And for once, my little video is essentially followed the article. The article goes into more detail in a lot less time. It'll probably take you 2 to 3 minutes to read. It's on the blog under the same name. And again, the blog is notesintheleftmargin.com. And the article is What is the Very Essence of Problem Solving? Please feel free to leave comments on YouTube or on the blog. And let me know what you think. But for now, my name is Patrick Clark. Have a great day. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.